Today's episode is presented by Clark's. Clark's story began almost 200 years ago when Cyrus and James Clark made a slipper from sheepskin. At the time, it was groundbreaking, a combination of invention and craftsmanship that's remained at the heart of what Clark's does. From the very beginning, Clark's has always thought differently. Brilliant ideas are what set Clark's apart. We are teaming up with Clark's and Podgo to bring you up to 30% off select items, including the iconic Clark's Desert Boot, by going to podgo.co/Clarks. That's podgo.co/Clarks.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 261. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man? I just want to say, Dave, happy Mar 10 Day. Or if you're in the UK, for our UK listeners, happy 10 Mar Day. And if you don't know what that is, that's Happy Mario Day. Because
that's right.
for some weird reason,
March 10th.
Mar and 10 sort of looks like Mario, so they just said it's Mario Day. It's March 10th.
It only works. It only works in countries that have the month first, which is interesting, right? Which is why you bring up the European thing.
Which I think is only in North America.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous because the day is the smallest increment, right? It should be day, month, year.
Oh, we're not gonna get into this debate.
It should be in my eyes. We're going smallest to biggest.
I vehemently disagree. You can only have 12 months. There's only 12 months. You can't go higher than 12 months. But 28 days.
But how long is a month? A month is comprised of multiple days, is it not?
A month.
So the length of time is longer.
A minimum of 28 days. So it would be longer on the second column than it will be on the first column.
Okay, cool. I got a way to solve this. I will trade you 2 quarters for $100 bill. Done. Okay. You have 2 quarters and I have $100 bill. So you were making out.
Go ahead. You know what?
I will trade with the Bank of Robinson at any point in time if that's your exchange rate.
You know what? I'll trade you 2 $2 bills. Okay. You ready? Are you ready? For 1 penny.
Two $2 bills? So wait, so I need to give you a penny?
No, you need to give me the $2 bills. I give you a penny.
No.
I'm just saying. I'll take that.
That doesn't work. See, that's where this whole thing breaks down.
I'll take that trade. I'll take that trade any day.
Well, I'm not gonna make that trade. That's a dumb trade.
You know what else is dumb? Mario's last name is Mario, but we don't talk about that anymore.
Mario. Well, it's canon now too. Funny enough, thanks to the wonderful Super Mario Brothers movie, which I still have not seen to this day. I will admit that.
It is canon, and for some bizarre reason, they're still going with it. Mario, and Luigi Mario. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry.
I mean, it doesn't, but neither did having like 7 different producers on that movie in like 3 different directing teams. The whole thing was just doomed from the start.
So I had originally planned for the show that we would do like a Mario quiz.
Mm-hmm.
But then I forgot we already did a Mario quiz like 6 months ago.
We did do one a bit ago, yeah, and I aced it, by the way.
It was awesome.
Got an A on that quiz.
I was going to say we would do the IGN. IGN sort of posted a Mario quiz on their Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But it was super easy. It wasn't challenging at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I'd do a little twist. Okay, we're not going to have any quizzes, but we're going to do the 3 Mario questions.
Oh, all right.
All right. So question 1, this is sort of like our personal history with Mario. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Question 1, this is a softball. What's the first Mario game you remember playing?
Oh, I mean, is it not Super Mario Brothers for both of us?
I would assume so. I mean, we're both old, so the NES was our first system.
Right.
Right.
Oh, actually, now that I think about it, it's not. It's well,
you are older than me, so that's true.
Yeah, by like 2 years. Come on now.
By 15 years.
By 2 years. What are we counting Donkey Kong? Does that count?
Donkey Kong doesn't count, but Mario Brothers counts.
Well, I mean, Mario's the hero of Donkey Kong, is he not?
True, but the game was mostly about Donkey Kong. It was called
Well,
Donkey
he's
Kong.
the villain. It's named after him, but you play as Mario or Jumpman, I guess. He wasn't technically Mario yet, but
he was a man that jumped in the video game.
but he's Mario.
Technically, the first Mario game was Mario Brothers.
Okay, well then that's the answer, because I think we had a copy of that for the Atari. And or the Commodore 64.
Which is still crazy to think about. Mario wasn't always on just Nintendo systems. He was on other systems.
Oh yeah. They made an Atari version of Donkey Kong. They made a Donkey Kong version for the Intellivision, and I think also Mario Brothers came out on both, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, because I do have Mario Brothers for the Atari.
Yeah. Are they good?
The Atari versions? No.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
Donkey Kong's okay, I guess, but still not great. Better than Pac-Man. But yeah, I'd have to say that. And I mean, I guess the first one for you is Super Mario Brothers, right?
I've told the story 1,000 times, and now I'm going to tell it 1,001.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I remember I think it was for my birthday. I don't know how old I was. I definitely was like maybe 4 or 5. I was probably like 5 or 6. Sorry, about 5 or 6. And I woke up. My father was playing Duck Hunt because he had just bought the NES. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, can I play?" And he's like, "Yeah, in a minute," because he couldn't get the stupid ducks. Okay, that was my first experience of early Twitch days, watching other people play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, Super Mario Brothers, the first one on the NES, was my first Mario experience.
Nice.
And my favorite board, my favorite level was the second level.
Okay.
I just thought that was so cool. Like, you find the little secrets, like you can jump and run and find the warp pipes and stuff. Like, I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. I think that would have also been mine if I didn't have an older brother, because obviously he was into video games, so he got the computer and he got the Atari. So we had it in the house, right? But I was a little too young to be playing it, I guess. Or like to be like that interested over like, I don't know, Duplo blocks or whatever. But I got into it real young and I was like, video games? Yeah, no, this is the thing. This is what I want to do.
This is going to be my life.
Yeah.
This is going to be my life. I'm going to do a podcast 50 years from now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was like, the internet's going to be a thing in a couple of years. Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
That. I should have known. If I could go back in time, I'd tell myself, just remember this, okay? When you hear something called Google, just invest in it. Whatever you have, all the money you have, just put it into Google. Trust me.
Yeah. There's going to be this guy named Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey. All right, and he's going to be crazy about this bird. No.
Oh, tell your parents to invest in property in Manhattan. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even though it's the 80s. Just tell them to buy property.
Anywhere in Manhattan. Yeah,
just sit on it. Yeah,
yep.
I know.
Yep.
All right. So that was the easy question, softball question. Question number 2 gets a little bit harder. Dave, out of all the mainline Mario games, which one? We already know which one you like the most.
Well, we don't necessarily know for new-time listeners. Maybe they're tuning in for the first time. Who knows?
All right. All right. Well, we'll address that in the next question. Okay. Which is also a tough question. But this question, if you've been listening to the show, you already know what our favorite Mario games of all time. Mm-hmm. But what you don't know is what our least favorite Mario game. Out of all the mainline Mario games, so you can't say Mario was missing or anything. All the education.
Why not? It's a Mario game. It's got Mario in the name.
And the mainline series.
Oh my god.
So
you're talking about platformers that are 2D or 3D, all right? That is the qualifications here. Okay, yes. All right, that makes sense.
So look, we're not saying this game is bad, but we're saying this is if we had to do a Mario draft, this game is probably going to get picked last. So
I'm gonna have to say, Dan, I think this is the hardest question I've ever had to answer in my entire life.
Oh my god.
Well, think about it, right? You look at the Mario franchise and the games that fit this criteria, they're all top-tier games.
Oh, I think this question is easy for me.
Can you name me one? Well, you will. I think you are going to name me one that's like kind of on the Dave scale, but honestly, they're all like really good. So like okay, what's the easy answer? Is it Sunshine?
No.
Is it 3D World?
Stop. No. Talk. No. Listen, some people will say Sunshine, and if you ask any of the critics, they probably would tell you Sunshine. But I'm gonna.
Well, they're wrong. Sunshine is great. It's a fantastic game.
It's not a wrong. You can't be right or wrong. It's what's your personal view on it. It's like is Sunshine better than 64? Is Sunshine better than Galaxy? Is it worse than Galaxy? You would have to look at the Metacritic score. Like which one got rated.
Well, no, I don't care about any of that.
You don't care about any of the metrics.
Well, no, like if you sit down and play this game, are you going to be like, I'm not really into this? Like if it was your first Mario game that you were coming into, and you picked the game up.
Well, the question is, what do you like the least?
No, I understand, but like we're comparing it. We're comparing it to other great games. Is the conundrum that I have? Right.
All right. Well, it doesn't matter. All these games on the list are great, so they're all
exactly.
It's like saying, okay, Michael Jordan, you're going to pick Michael Jordan first out of all the Hall of Famers, but who's going to be the last Hall of Famer you draft? He's still a Hall of Famer. Okay, so.
Well, I'm aware, but nobody can touch Jordan. Nobody can touch Jordan.
That's probably going to be last on my list.
Okay,
Charles Barkley's going to be last on my list, but he's still a great player.
But he's not as good as Jordan. Jordan's a beast.
It doesn't matter. Whatever game I pick for my least, is it going to be as great?
Okay, so here's the Jordan of the bunch, right? We all know what the Jordan of the bunch is, right?
Yeah, Super Mario World.
Super Mario Brothers 3. Is Michael Jordan. Everything else is Scottie Pippen. Okay, they are a nice also-rans to the legend.
Well, I think the man. I think that's a smack in the face to Super Mario Brothers 3, which is actually the second best.
It's Mario the greatest game of all time, and nothing can touch it. I'm sorry.
All right, so we're dancing around the question. We're dancing around the question. No more dancing. No more dancing. I'm telling you what my least.
Well, hold on.
Game is.
All right, you can go first. I'm going to tell you
because I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to surprise you.
Are you?
I'm going to surprise everybody. It is Super Mario 64.
Oh, yeah. No, okay. I will.
I've zero nostalgic for this game.
Same.
Okay. I didn't get it when it first came out. I mean, my first N64 game was Mario Kart 64.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't own it.
Well, I own it. I've played it. It's a great game, but I just like all the other Mario games more than this. Like if you put all the Mario games out and say, here, you could play. I'm on a desert island and here are all the Mario games. This is probably the last one I pick up to play. Mm-hmm. So this one would be my least favorite Mario game of all time.
Okay. I don't think, honestly, I don't think that's controversial at all. A lot of people would say, "Oh, it's controversial because look what it did, and it was monumental for its time." It's true, but some things don't hold up, right? Like look at like GoldenEye. GoldenEye, yes, you need to acknowledge it for its place in history, but if you go back and play it now, it's terrible, right? It's really bad. The frame rate's like 10 frames per second. The aiming is real like floaty. Right, the graphics are super muddy. Like, there's just a lot that didn't age well with that game, and I think I 100% agree with you. I think 64 is kind of in that boat. All right, that's a really good answer. That's a really good answer.
I mean, look, I'm just saying, all the NES games I can play, straightforward games. This was the first, to me, the first Mario game that wasn't sort of straightforward. You had to like jump into a painting, which is like the level, right? That's the overworld. The overworld is the castle,
sure,
and you get to jump into the different paintings to get into the different levels.
It
was a little confusing for me when I actually first played it. Again, that's why I don't have any nostalgia for it because I didn't play when it first came out. I probably would.
Well, I think
be higher on my list if I.
I think that's the reasoning because the question specifically is the game you like the least, not which is the worst out of the series. All right,
correct.
So to go back to it, right? You look at like Odyssey. I think is the ultimate version of 64. Like they kept iterating over it. They went to Galaxy 2. That was an iteration. And then they kind of sidestepped and went to 3D World. And then they came back and went to Odyssey, which is the better version of 64, I think. Right? It looks a lot better, plays a lot better. The controls are tight. So that's a fantastic answer. Okay. So I have one. I'm dancing around the question. I got one. Super Mario Land. For the Game Boy.
Wow.
That's my pick.
Really?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you kind of look at it, like, it definitely isn't a game I've ever wanted to go back to. It's a fun game. It's fine. But they had to do a lot of things to get that game to run on a Game Boy and to play properly. So everything's, like, super tiny. The game is really quick. It's only got 4 worlds, right? Princess Peach isn't even in the damn game. You saved Daisy.
Daisy's in a game, and I like when you get to you had to jump to the higher exit point
to get the bonus round.
To get the bonus round. That was so cool. I love that part. Yeah, I love that series.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It had that weird like fireball mechanic, which they brought into Mario Maker 2, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I guess that is the least. But I mean, that's answering that question when you're in a field of greats, right? You got the 92 All-Star team playing in the Olympics, all right? And it's like, well, everyone's a beast. And it's like, this is probably last on my list. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So the third question, and I thought this question was harder than the least favorite Mario game, personally. What is your top 3 Mario game of all time?
Okay. You want me to go first, or do you want to go first? No. I think you should go first. I want to hear your answers.
All right. So, we already know the cream of the crop, the top. We know what the best game of all time.
All right,
is. That's Mario game of all time, but the best game of all time.
So you're going to be doing these in order.
I'm gonna do these in order. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Top to bottom. I'm doing 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Cool.
Because there's no sort of no drama, no suspense. You already know Super Mario World is going to be my top pick.
Of course. Okay. How can
Super Mario World number 1. Number 2, I got to give it to Super Mario Odyssey. Odyssey was fantastic on the game scale.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But this is where I got a little bit of trouble. The third best game on my list. You would think I love Super Mario Brothers 3, which would be fitting, right?
I don't know. If you listen to the podcast, you throw a lot of shade at it.
No, I listen. It's just not the best one. I don't even think it's better than Odyssey, but I do love Super Mario Brothers 3. This could be nostalgia glasses on, but I love Super Mario Brothers 2. That was my first game I ever got hyped for. Right, so I was here for the hype for Mario Brothers 2, and it was totally different. You got to jump on people, and it was the first time in a Mario game when you jumped on someone and they didn't die.
Yeah,
right. But
yeah.
It was totally different from any other Mario game.
It's the Dan Robinson list. I can't say you're wrong.
But I'll give it to 3. I do give it to 3. Three was three just ekes out over two, just that much. So
Okay, yeah,
that's my list.
So my list is exactly the same as yours, with the exception of Mario 3 in the number 1 spot, Odyssey in the number 2 spot, and Super Mario World in the number 3 spot.
Whoa!
I shit you not, Dan.
Whoa!
I shit you
know
not.
What? I'm surprised that Super Mario World's even on your list.
It was fantastic.
As much hate you give.
I don't give it any hate. I'm just saying that 3 was more revolutionary. 3 did more for the franchise than World did. World iterated over on what 3 started.
I disagree. And they used ideas that they couldn't implement in 3 in World, which was revolutionary. Hence, Yoshi.
Well, I mean that was just a limitation to the hardware, right? He wanted to have Yoshi or a dinosaur in Mario 1, but they couldn't do it technically.
They couldn't do it in 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, well, that's just a hardware thing. I mean, that's not indicative of the game being bad. That's
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying they took those ideas and made it much. Much more better.
I mean, Yoshi was great. The cape was cool. You could do the kind of floating mechanic and all that, and the major the winking overworld. Like, there's definitely some good things to it, but
yeah. All right, so we're not gonna get into the Mario World, Mario 3 discussion again. If anything, we have an awesome show this week. Let's get this show on the road. We definitely do have an awesome show this week. We're going to talk about the Xbox and Bethesda roundtable. We're going to talk about Microsoft shutting down an Xbox One feature I didn't even know still existed, to be honest. But we're going to begin with something that happened the other day, and it's fantastic. And my mind is blown because this came out of nowhere. We're going to get a new Ninja Turtles game. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and it's like a beat 'em up. The best thing ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's basically a spiritual successor. Well, hell no, it's a sequel to Turtles in Time, essentially, right? It's got that same 16-bit art style.
Well, that's what they're going for.
Right, exactly. And it's made by the guys who worked on the Scott Pilgrim game, which just got released and the physical's coming out, and also Streets of Rage 4. So the pedigree is high. Pedigree is very high.
Yeah, Streets of Rage 4, fantastic game. They know how to do beat 'em ups, right? Especially bringing old beat 'em ups into sort of like a new light. And they kept the fact that, just like Turtles in Time, you can throw the foot into sort of the screen, right? Like an homage to Turtles in Time.
Just like in Turtles in Time, which is one of the coolest things.
I would say my only downer on this a little bit, right? And I'm nitpicking here, is the initial announcement didn't have any gameplay, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the sort of second trailer that came out had the gameplay. So when I first heard about it, I was like, really? Okay, cool, whatever. And then when the second announcement came out, like the following day, it had like the gameplay with it, or I think it was later in the day, it had the gameplay with it, and I was like, okay, I'm on board. They should have just did this in the first place.
Yeah. I don't know why they split it up like that, especially since they dropped them on the same day. But needless to say, I can bet you dollars to donuts that there is going to be a physical release of this game, and
I hope so.
I will be the first person in line to buy this, guaranteed. And
I'm getting it on the Switch.
Yeah. And I can also guarantee Limited Run's going to get the rights to do the physical.
If Limited Run gets the rights to do the physical, they're going to have a special edition. And
100%. Yeah.
I may have to do a special edition because
right.
You know, I think we did this last year or 2 years ago. We did sort of like our top 10 favorite games of all time.
Oh, we did. That was a great episode.
And I had to do an amendment to that.
Yeah.
on the next show.
That's right.
Because I totally left off Turtles in Time. Turtles in Time moved up my list. It was like in the middle of the list.
It's a fantastic game.
So I may have to do the special edition if I get this. So
nice.
Another game I wouldn't mind getting a special edition on. That's the Perfect Dark reboot. Okay, I don't know why more people aren't hyped for this game. Well, I know why, because the last game kind of sucked on the Dave scale, right? Nobody really liked it. We both don't have nostalgia for the Perfect Dark series because we both never played the original on N64.
Yeah. Perfect Dark Zero was a launch title for the original Xbox 360. I was going to say original Xbox. For the Xbox 360. It needed more time, for sure. Yeah. Right? It needed a lot more time. It was missing a lot of kind of core gameplay features. It just didn't feel that good. And I didn't play it at the time. I played it on the Rare Replay. And, not great. Not great. The original Perfect Dark was essentially the spiritual successor to GoldenEye because they lost the license. So, that's all they could do. They said, okay, let's go ahead and take this engine, let's make it look better, and we'll get a new protagonist and we'll make a new story out of it. So,
I don't know. I feel like Perfect Dark is the perfect IP to be resurrected. No pun intended. And I think it's gonna do fantastic. I think it's gonna be great. I don't think they're gonna miss the mark like they did last time.
I mean, I hope not.
I'm super psyched for this. And now I'm even more psyched for it because a new LinkedIn post from the initiative shows that Rhonda Cox, this person is going to be a senior producer on the reboot. Mm-hmm. Rhonda Cox she was a gameplays feature producer on God of War that came out in 2018. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she also worked on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and World of Warcraft. So she has an impressive resume.
Yeah. That's definitely pretty solid. I'm cautiously optimistic based on the last game and the fact that it's been 16
years?
Long
time.
16 years, right? Yes, it's been almost 16 years, right? No, November of this year would mark the 16th anniversary, 16-year anniversary of Perfect Dark Zero. Jesus.
All right, let me ask you a side question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather the Perfect Dark reboot be first person or third person?
I mean, you gotta keep it like the original. You got to keep it first person.
Wow.
Both of them are first person. Why would you make it a third person game? That changes the whole dynamic.
I would make it third person.
Really? Oh, that would change the whole entire game. It would, not that would be a bad thing, but it would change the game and the dynamic.
Well, God of War, the God of War we played 2018 is different than the God of War of the original games, right? So they had to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, but it still felt like God of War. It still felt like, an action-y game. They just, they changed the camera perspective a little bit, sure. They kind of mix some things up, but it still felt like God of War. I don't know, moving it to a third-person thing. The only thing I can think of in my head is like Tomb Raider. It's going to turn into a Tomb Raider game, where it's more like exploration and kind of moving around.
Tomb Raider game / Uncharted, right? Like more shooting than the exploration part, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not saying it would be bad. I'm sure they can make a great game out of it, but it would definitely change the dynamic. Yeah.
I say go third person, go all the way. If you're gonna change it, just change it all the way.
So, yeah, I mean it's just got to be good in my eyes, right? Put a good story, put some tight controls in there and some good graphics, and I'll give it a shot.
All right, Dave. As we always try to start the show, but epically fail. What have you been playing?
Not much, surprisingly. But I'm working my way through Greece. All right. That is the name. That is the pronunciation I'm settling on, is Greece for the Switch.
Well, Gris, if you're me.
I mean, it's French for gray, but yes. And I'm up to yellow.
Every time you say you're playing, every time you tell me you're playing Grease, I was just like, so you playing John Travolta?
Oh yeah. I am playing the connected dance game, Grease.
That's all I think of. All I think of is John Travolta every time you tell me you playing Grease.
Listen. It's all about that Grease lightning. All right. I 100%ed it. All right. I know all the moves. I'm shaking left, shaking right. Yes. No, I am definitely not playing Grease, the Xbox 360 Kinect game.
Well, how are you liking it so far?
It's still great. The only thing that sucks about it is that if you put that game down, even for a short period of time, and then come back to it, you forget where you were, what path you were going on, and what puzzle you need to solve. Right? It's just a little ambiguous because everything's like this beautiful watercolor painting that you're traversing around, trying to bring back color to the world, and I love it. But every time I come back, I'm like, oh, God, where was I going? Where's the thing I wanted to do? That's the only knock against that game. That's it.
It is a game. It is. I mean, it's always hard when you put a game down for a while. Mm-hmm. This is a game that you can't put down. Like, you have to play it straight.
Right.
Just so you can keep their momentum going and the flow of what you have to do. Because I haven't played the game since PAX last year. Mm-hmm. And I made it. I got to be honest. I feel like I put 10 hours into that game, but I put a lot of time into the game. I unlocked a lot of colors.
Yep.
I'm sure I'm more than halfway through, and that save doesn't mean anything to me now because I have no idea how to play.
You should go back and beat it.
I would have to start from the beginning.
That's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a great experience. You know, it's very low pressure. There's almost no enemies in the game. Right? You're really just solving puzzles, running around this watercolor world.
And as I do that, I'll watch actual Grease on TV and have the music playing.
Ah, there you go. No, you got to listen to the Grease soundtrack, not that Grease soundtrack, the game soundtrack. It's so good. Eddie.
Okay.
So what have you been playing?
I've been playing a couple of games. Old school. I played Future Cop, LAPD on the PS1.
Oh shoot. Okay.
It's I gotta say, really good game. Thinking about making it a Saturday morning retro throwback game for me that I want to play. Mm-hmm. But the only reason why I put in maybe an hour or hour and a half into it because I just got it off of eBay, and the guy on eBay said it was complete, so I bought it and I got it for a discounted price. I mean, the game is like $80-$90 online, but I got it for half that price, and when I open it up, the disc looks fine. Has a little library sticker in the middle of it, right? I guess the library would put stickers in the middle part, so it's a library property.
Your local public library, right?
But the booklet is not a booklet. It's only the cover and the back. So someone pulled out the middle. I don't know if it's, because it was in the library, someone stole it when it was actually in the library.
Bunch of savages, Dan.
I know, but that prompted me to play the game to make sure it worked. So I didn't, because I didn't know if I was going to return it or not. But I'm going to give it a good home. I'm going to keep it. And if I actually find just the manual in the wild, I can pick it up and make it complete.
All right, I'll be on the lookout for it for you.
It's a cool game for its time, for a '90s. I think it was a late '90s game. You're like Transformers, like you're like a hover car and you go around, top down view, shooting enemies. You have guns or you have missiles, and then you can transform into like a mech.
That's right.
The cop car transfers into a mech.
Mm-hmm.
You can use the dual sticks, but it only the left stick works. Like the right stick, you can't control the camera. So you could just control the mech with the one stick, and the camera will adjust accordingly. That's my only downside to it.
It like auto whips around.
Yeah, but the music's awesome. The cinematics are great. The game works, so I'm going to give it a good home. So I'm going to keep that in the collection.
Did you get this off of eBay?
Yeah, eBay.
You gotta leave that guy a negative comment.
I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, but that's definitely...
he misrepresented the game. Come on now.
He did. I actually went back today to check before we recorded, and it says complete, and I went into the description, and it says complete. It says nothing about the manual being missing.
Right.
So.
All right. He lied. Come on now.
I've been playing The Last Guardian on the PS5. A game I did not beat, by the way, and this game... Not gonna lie, it's kind of tough to go back to. I mean, it had a lot of hype when it came out. I played it when it first came out. Have the I don't even think was there a special edition for this. I think I was trying to get
Last Guardian. So. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, Last Guardian, famously has been like in the works for a long time.
Oh sure, yeah. This is the trilogy of Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, and now The Last Guardian.
Well, the funny part was it was announced at E3 in like '06 or something, and they never said anything about it.
Yep.
And it finally came out.
Yeah, they dropped like a beautiful trailer and then never talked about it.
Yeah, I remember when I first played it, I definitely put like 8 hours into this game. I felt like I was halfway through it at least, or more than halfway through it. And I really enjoyed it. I just didn't finish it.
Right.
I didn't have that same experience. Now
playing it again.
Yeah, I didn't have. I feel like the camera's clunk. The camera's 1,000% clunky. I'm not having as much fun as I did when it first came out, and maybe it was because it was a hype game.
Okay.
So, and lastly, a game I am having tremendous fun with. Never thought in 1,000 years I would have fun with this game or this type of game, and that is Yakuza Like a Dragon. I've been playing it on the Xbox One. It's different. It's different. That's a good word. It's different. I really like this game. The story's wild. It's Persona, essentially gangsters. It's Persona 5 with gangsters.
Yeah.
Who knew I would like a turn-based RPG?
I'm surprised, Dan. I am very surprised that you're in. I'm over the moon that you're into this game because I didn't think you'd be about it. But
it's story. I play games for story mostly, and the story is over the top, just like Persona 5.
Yep.
The animations for when we even get into sort of the battle system is wonky and crazy and colorful. I really dig it. I had to put it on easy because I just don't know. I don't get how people have so much fun or passion for turn-based RPG battles. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. Oh, I got to play it on easy. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just because I don't get it.
I'm gonna, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not gonna knock you for that. I will tell you the secret why people like RPGs mostly. I mean, I can say for me, and I think a lot of people share this. It's all about the numbers, right? Just like people that are into baseball or football, and they're like stat heads, right? They want to know how many doubles, how many triples. They want to know how many strikeouts the pitcher had in a given year. They just go nuts for the stats, and they like comparing and whatever. It's the same thing with the RPGs to me, right? That's kind of the thing. And I love getting into the systems and kind of maximizing my character's potential and like kind of putting all the stuff together and go, okay, this is the build that's going to help me dominate. All right. I love all that.
Yeah, I hate all that. I don't want to.
Well, I mean, there's
I don't want to do any of that.
I know, because you hate doing it. I remember in Spider-Man, you're like, I don't want to upgrade. I don't want to have to upgrade, but I have to upgrade.
Yeah, I don't want to do any of that. It's so my strategy just to get through the game because I'm just trying to get to the story bits.
Right.
Is if you got like 3 or 4 guys. All of my guys on my team are going to attack the same guy one by one so they can like disappear.
Yep.
So when they attack, it's 3 guys or 2 guys attacking me instead of 4 or 5 guys attacking me, right?
Yep. That's the general strategy I think for any RPG, any like turn-based style one. Focus down one guy, because the less guys who can attack you, the less damage that can be done to you, right? And then you can kind of focus them down. Or if there's one guy that's like just ridiculous, like, tamp them down with like magic or whatever so that they can't do the thing that's like giving you a ton of damage, and then get rid of all the little like mob guys on the side, right? And then come back to the big guy once they're all gone. It's general. It is very, very vague general tips, but that usually works out pretty well.
Play this game.
Yeah.
And collect as much trash and cans as you can. And once you start playing the game, you'll understand why.
Okay, I guess there's some trash economy or something, but all right.
Well, you need to make money.
I see.
You turn into a boss.
I see.
And you collect cans and trash, but there will be other guys try to steal your trash and cans while you're like on your little go-kart. So definitely play this game. Awesome. Story's wonky, and you know what? I just wish it was a turn-based RPG, but that's okay. I won't knock it.
Are you gonna go and complete it? You gonna beat it?
I don't know. There is. I'm hearing that the difficulty levels spike somewhere in the middle of the game, no matter what. No matter what difficulty level you have it on, you have it set on.
Right.
So, and I've already went through 2 bosses, which were not easy.
Yep.
They were not easy to beat. So, I'll say, well, I'll try. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So,
okay.
But on that note, why don't we take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get into the top gaming news of last week.
Hey, this is Matt Adler, freelance journalist for IGN, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers podcast.
And we're back. All right, let's get into the top gaming news of last week. Let's start with our lead story, the marriage between Xbox and Bethesda, or I should say ZeniMax and Microsoft. It is official. Everything that they had to do legally, because there's you can't just bring 2 juggernauts together for $7 billion without having the government say okay.
They went to the Justice of the Peace, right? They had a witness there. They exchanged rings. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Nintendo was their witness.
Oh. Yeah, Sony wasn't invited to the wedding.
So Sony was looking through the windows, and Nintendo was the witness.
Right. This was just the formality. We knew that they were like joining forces, or Microsoft was buying them, and they were going to be part of the Microsoft family. So
they had a Knights of the Round Table, so to speak, right? An hour-long love fest of nothing really of excitement. But
Love Fest was the way to go. Yeah. Yeah, we love Microsoft, and we love ZeniMax, patting each other on the back, saying how great their companies are, and oh yeah, it was weird.
Well, I mean, listen, if you were looking for like some big announcements, you got none of that here. So it was just an hour-long fill of welcome to the family.
Well,
I did try to pull some things out of it, and I think I got some things that we could talk about.
Well, okay. I'll say this before we get into that. They came out the gate and threw shade on Zoom. So they legit were like, "Oh, this is going to be great. This is great. Are we using Microsoft Teams to broadcast this?" It's like, dude, come on. That's the one thing that, like, right out the gate, I'm like, wow, you are shilling hard for Microsoft, and they even kind of poke fun at that a little bit. But Christ, it was a little much.
I was gonna leave that out, but yeah, they did poke fun.
Within the first minute, they're like, oh, this is coming through so crisp and clear. It must not be using Zoom. I'm like, wow, okay.
I still wish I bought Zoom stock last year. I bought the beginning of last year.
That's a whole nother thing, but yeah.
I will say this: Phil Spencer did address the elephant in the room. Will Bethesda Games, because they did. When they bought ZeniMax, they didn't just buy Bethesda. Bethesda sort of like is the face of ZeniMax, but there are several studios. You have Bethesda Game Studios. You have ZeniMax Online. You have id Software. You had Arcane Studios.
Right.
You have Machine Games. You have Tango GameWorks. And you have Alpha Dog Games, and you have Roundhouse Studios.
Yeah, there's a lot of studios in there. A lot of studios.
So altogether, they bought 8 studios.
Yeah,
they bought 8 studios. The elephant in the room: will ZeniMax Studios, these 8 studios, will their games be exclusive to Xbox? And for the most part, the answer is most likely. All right, it's he legally he couldn't say yes, just because they had contracts out. Right, they had whatever contracts negotiated prior to them purchasing, some that we know about and some that we don't know about. Deathloop is one of them, and it was another Sony.
Right.
It was another PS5 game. I forgot the name of it. It was like a Tokyo horror game.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, those are going to be PlayStation exclusives for like a year, and then they'll probably go to Xbox. So
Right. Because, I mean, we all know if you have a contract set, right, you're bound by that contract, whatever that is. There are ways of getting out of contracts, but it's difficult. And I guess they weren't able to do that. Or Phil Spencer said, you know what, here's the deal. We're gonna honor all previously in contracts, right?
There's no real way to get out of a contract just because you want to get out of it. I mean, it's all right. I'll put that to bed right now.
Well, yeah, but isn't there like loopholes and whatnot that you can kind of
not of any fault of your own. So
right.
You can't just say I don't want to do this anymore. So.
Well, no. You have to come with a I mean, it's a lot of work to even try and do that. I guess.
They're going to honor all the contracts that they've already been in the works.
Mm-hmm.
That's done. But he did say all like new stuff. He didn't specify what that is, but I'm gonna assume like games that we don't know about that didn't get into contracts with other platforms,
right?
Will be exclusive to Games Pass. He didn't say Xbox. He said Games Pass. Anywhere you can play Games Pass, which is Xbox and PC.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, I mean, why not? Like, you're not gonna buy a big studio for that amount of money and then say, well, you can also play it on PlayStation, right? Because they're a hardware company as well as a software company, right? Yes, they make games for their system, but they want to move units, right? They want to get more systems in people's houses, which means they can sell more Games Pass subscriptions, which have all of the great Bethesda games on there. So it's symbiotic in that case, right?
Well, think about it. I mean, Doom Eternal, I think said they made like $450 million alone,
mm-hmm.
right? Just for that one single player game. So, yeah, they can make their money back pretty quickly if that was exclusive, right? And it made the same amount of money. But remember, it made the same amount of money, and it came out on everything, right? Except for the Switch.
It did, but I mean, just throw the new Elder Scrolls game in there, and throw like a new Fallout game, and you're gonna get pretty close. I think you're gonna get pretty close to recouping.
It's like we got Elder Scrolls, we got Fallout, Skyrim. All the different. I mean,
Elder Scrolls is one of the Skyrim games. Skyrim is one of the Elder Scrolls games. But yeah,
I'm just reading off their website right now.
Mm-hmm.
Doom, Wolfenstein, Quake, Dishonored, Prey.
Right.
Let's not
forget Rage.
The Evil Within. Rage. Yeah, Rage. Totally forget about Rage.
Evil Within. Yeah.
Evil Within. Yeah. The Evil Within.
Shinji Mikami. Right.
Evil Within 2. Wow, I forgot about some of these games. So, and then I mean, to be honest, there are games that we don't really care about because they make a lot of mobile games. Like Alpha Dog Games makes mobile games, so they have a lot of different mobile games.
Right.
So,
right.
It's all gonna have the Xbox Studios branding on it, right?
Sure. I'm gonna assume those mobile game studios are gonna shift onto making larger AAA style games or games that are like console PC exclusive, right?
No, I'm going to say no. We're going to say they're going to continue to make mobile games. I mean, Microsoft as a company is going to want, to diversify. And if they're making mobile games that are making money, why stop them? And Microsoft is one of those companies, or at least, they say that they don't change. They don't want to change the culture. They want to, help foster it. So, you keep your culture.
Yeah,
we can learn, we can learn from each other, which is what the roundtable, they kept saying, we can learn from each other.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if it's making money, it's generating revenue, it's got microtransactions, like why not, why shake the tree, I guess.
Not to mention that, yes, we got the shiny new stuff like Bethesda, Doom, Bethesda makes, they have the Doom and they have Elder Scrolls, but I'm sure from a business standpoint, they looked and said, we can make some money on these mobile games too. So that was probably attractive to them as well, right? Which hiked the price up to, a couple of billion, the $7 billion.
Sure. It's a big industry, mobile. Yeah.
They did also announce that 20 ZeniMax games. I'm just going to say ZeniMax. I'm just going to say, I'll say Bethesda. Not all Bethesda, quote unquote, but I'm just going to say Bethesda games. 20 Bethesda games are coming to Games Pass, and they're out now. Like all the games I just mentioned, the Doom series. Well, do you have Doom 2, Doom 64, Doom 3, Doom Eternal, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Prey, Rage 2, all the Elder Scrolls games, Evil Within, all the Wolfenstein games.
Yeah.
You know, and Dishonored 2, all coming to Games Pass.
Yeah, they just like doubled the value of Games Pass with these 20 new games that just got added. That's insane.
Well, it's full circle if you think about it, right? Because didn't Microsoft want to have Doom on Windows along like back in like 95? Was it 95? Didn't they have Doom with it on Windows?
Windows? No,
Was
never.
It some type of partnership?
I
could just wonder it was like some type of partnership with Doom and Microsoft.
I mean, id Software at the time probably certainly would have wanted that to happen, but there was never no. They I mean, you want to talk about like Space Pinball or Hover? I think was like a 3D space shooter game that was like packed in, but no, Doom was never a thing.
That is not true, my friend. Doom 95.
Well, what is this Doom thing?
In late 1995, Doom was established to be installed on more computers worldwide. Oh, okay. So I guess
no, it's just they just had a high install base. Yeah.
Yes, it was. Well, Doom was in more. Oh, didn't Bill Gates make a commercial? Didn't Bill Gates make a commercial and he was like in a Doom background?
I don't think so. And if he did, I don't remember it. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I have no recollection of that. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Okay.
He did. A Windows 95. I knew I wasn't crazy. Windows 95 had a promo featuring Bill Gates with Doom in the Doom background.
I don't remember this. Okay. Oh, wow.
Yes.
All
right.
I
knew it was that going crazy.
Interesting. Okay.
He gave a crazy Microsoft presentation where he put himself in Doom.
Wow. Okay.
Because Doom was in more
PCs, right? Yeah.
More PCs than Windows 95.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I knew there was some sort of like.
I'm gonna have to look this up after this recording is done because I do not remember this.
Yes, I remember because I thought it was the coolest thing when I was a kid.
Right.
Well, it comes full circle. Now Microsoft owns Doom.
There you go.
They can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. So we didn't get any crazy announcements, but they did tease Bethesda/Xbox will have an announcement, a brand new announcement for a brand new game in the summertime.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of announcements. Yeah, and I bet whatever Microsoft and Bethesda were going to do on their own before this deal was like finally like inked and done, they probably did a 180 on their presentations and said, okay, now we got to change everything. We got to integrate Bethesda into our. I mean, because Bethesda was doing their own presentation and Microsoft was doing their own Xbox presentation. Now it's going to be one giant day-long event. I mean, I don't know how long do you think their presentation is going to be this summer?
Oh, I don't know if it's going to be long, but I know it's going to be meaty, I would say. Because remember, Bethesda, the one knock on the Bethesda press conferences where they usually padded it out with mobile games. I don't think we'll see any of that. I don't think we'll see any of that.
We're not going to see the new Elder Scrolls Blades coming through.
Well, Elder Scrolls Blades we will see, but some of those smaller, nonsensical, no fanfare games. I forgot. What was that? What was that game from like 2 years ago? It was like it was a mobile game, and it was like the IP was like from back, from the 90s, and it was like, we're bringing this IP back, and it was like,
you're talking about the Commander Keen thing,
yeah, the Commander Keen.
Yeah, that was like a footnote in that presentation, and it was apparently trash too.
They gave a lot of. I think they gave more screen time to that than needed. Okay,
yeah, I agree. I agree.
That could have been just something you drop online.
Right, exactly. So I think more thing, go online, see this other game that nobody cares about.
Yeah, I think stuff like that will be on their online. I don't think it'd be in the full presentation. Like Microsoft is going to say, let's not talk about that. We don't need to pad it out
because they got too much stuff to talk about now, right? You got Gears, you got Halo, you got the whole Xbox, like, here's what we're doing with Xbox. Here's all the new stuff coming out. And now you got Bethesda in the mix, too. You ain't got time for Commander Keen mobile games.
Well, one thing they should announce at the show, right? It's sort of like this is how you open a show or open the roundtable. Hey guys, not only do we have Bethesda, but you know what? That TV One guide listings that you hated on the Xbox One, we're dropping that. That's done. That's how they should have opened the roundtable. That would have made it more exciting.
Okay. I guess that's your transition.
I thought it was a great
Interesting.
transition. I thought it was a great
Interesting.
transition. Well, one, I didn't even know this feature still existed.
Neither did I. The one guide. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The one guide was basically the TV guide. If you hooked up your cable box,
your cable box, and you sync them together,
right?
You can see the listings on the one guide. But because my cable box was hooked up through my Xbox, there was no need for me to use the one guide because I could just use the guide on my cable box, which was much faster. So
yeah, I never did that. Oh, I never had cable with my Xbox One, right? Because that's the only one you can do it on is the One or the One X or the One S.
Great, because I would say Xbox on, and it would turn on everything, and people would be like, "Oh shoot, he turned on his."
Oh yeah,
set.
I mean, yeah, that was like kind of nice for people who didn't have like the home automation. You could use the Cortana. The mic that was built into the Kinect, which came with the original Xbox, and do it that way. That was definitely kind of nice, and that's all kind of gone now.
I miss it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to get an Alexa because you can use the Alexa to turn the Xbox on.
You know what? Okay, Alexa didn't do this. Alexa didn't give me picture-in-picture. That was awesome. I could still watch TV on a small screen and play the game.
Oh well, that was the Snap feature, which they also got rid of.
I know. I missed that.
They got rid of that a while ago.
I missed that feature. That was awesome.
I mean, yeah, it was like kind of cool. It had its time in the sun for sure.
So last generation, I had two TVs on the wall, two 44-inch TVs on the wall. And I had one.
Well, why didn't you could have just had the TV on the one and then the Xbox on the other?
No, because I had the PlayStation 4 on the other.
You could only play one game at a time, though. That's the thing.
Says who?
How many hands do you have, Dan?
I have two hands.
Okay.
TV
Are you gonna
in my little box? I can play Xbox.
Oh, see, no. If you had two TVs on the wall, I would just put TV on one and the Xbox on the other, and side by side them. But
so I thought they got rid of this feature a long time ago.
So did I, because it's not on the Series X. There is no HDMI input that you can like filter through. So it's just for last generation Xbox users who are still using this feature. And yeah, I mean, and also like not to mention they got rid of the like Cortana stuff in favor of like just using Amazon Alexa to control your system, right? Because they're like Amazon's doing a much better job with it. They have the ecosystem. Everyone's got a little Alexa hockey puck. They're like, fuck it, we're just gonna get rid of this stuff. And now my Alexa's going off. Jesus.
Well, where they taketh, they giveth. And Xbox Series X browser upgrade will now allow you to play Stadia, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. If you have an anywhere with a browser, you can play Stadia, right? That's what they said.
Right.
Now you can play
right.
Assassin's Creed on your Xbox on your TV without owning Assassin's Creed for Xbox.
Right.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, it is. It is because they're technically they are a competitor. Does Microsoft see them as a competitor? Probably not.
No, I don't think Stadia has them shaking in their boots.
No. I mean, we definitely throw shade on Stadia, and I think with good reason. You know, I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. It takes time to build a whole infrastructure and platform and get your, ducks in a row, but it's been over a year by now, and they still don't have much for the system. So, I mean, Microsoft could certainly shut this down, right? It's it's all about the browser they supply to the console, right? So Xbox is using Microsoft Edge, which is Microsoft's own platform. Under the hood, it's essentially the same thing as Chrome, right? It's using the Chromium rendering engine to kind of power this. So it's essentially Chrome. It looks a little bit different on the front end. The UI is a little bit different, but it's essentially that. Microsoft could put a patch for the version on Xbox to say, hey, don't allow Stadia. All right. They could like totally do that. But I think they're just like, no one's going to use it. It doesn't matter. If they want to play Stadia, it's fine.
Well, Stadia, this is I don't know why you wouldn't play Stadia on your Xbox browser, but it's still a good sort of perk to have if you
I guess
Stadia
so.
account.
Yeah. It's interesting.
All right, let's transition. Let's talk about Stadia a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is sort of a follow-up from a story we did, I think, like last month. Where the creator of Terraria was locked out of his Google account, and he said, "All right, screw it. I'm not bringing Terraria to Stadia."
Yeah, he got rightfully upset, and he's like, you know what? You're not going to help me with my account. I'm done.
Yeah, it looks like he's backtracking on that a little bit, and Terraria is coming to Stadia, and it's coming out on the 18th of March.
Nice. They made it work.
They made it work. They got back together.
Yeah.
And I said this was like the dumbest thing ever. Like, come on, like Stadia needs all the hits they can get. And I mean, This is like an indie darling. It's on everything. It's on a Wii U. It's on a Vita. It's on a
Yeah. I mean, people call it the 2D version of Minecraft. It's kind of that game. And you're right. Stadia does need all the wins they can get. Every single game that moves off their platform is like a big detriment.
Well, then if that's the case, big or small, then this next one is going to be a big detriment because Stadia is losing something that they've had exclusive last year, which is Bomberman R Online was a Stadia exclusive, but now it's headed to PC.
Right. I totally forgot about this.
You may not like Bomberman R, right? Like Super Bomberman R. I mean, it was a launch game with the Switch.
With the Switch, yeah.
And then
it wasn't great.
And then a version came out for the Xbox and the PS4.
Yep.
And weirdly enough, the online multiplayer was exclusive to Stadia. I guess that was a big get for them. Again, these are little things that they need to have, and they're losing it. Now it's going to be on PC.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right. The more exclusives you have, the more inviting the platform is. I can only play this game on this, right? The quality of the games is obviously also important. Super Mario R is a perfectly fine game. It had some unique features that were just on Stadia, so like that's kind of a proposition. And combined with the fact that they like closed down their first-party game studio, it's not a good sign. All right. So now it's like, what do you have that no other platform has? And it's like, not much. I can't even think what's exclusive. I don't think anything is anymore.
Oh, is that Son of Sam? Is that Sam? Serious Sam?
Serious Sam? I don't think Serious Sam is. Maybe it is. I maybe it is.
They do have an exclusive, but I don't think it was big enough to ride this. But
no.
Well, let's see. You know what? Let's see if they can get games from other companies. I mean, let's see if they can get like some big RPGs, or maybe they can make a deal with Square Enix. Right? Because now Square Enix has just announced that they're going to have their own sort of digital direct showcase this week. If you're listening to the show the week this comes out, I think this also is coming out on the 18th or the 19th.
Okay.
18th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
So I'm not excited for this, and I'll tell you why. You ready?
All right. I'm ready.
It's March. That's why I'm not excited.
Yeah.
Nothing cool really ever comes out in March. If anything, they're going to hold their heavy hitters for E3 time, so they're going to hold it for June. So that's why I'm not excited. They've already sort of buried the lead with, one of the major things is they announced Life is Strange series season 3. Life is Strange 3. We'll get a reveal and an announcement. So
Right. But that's already out of the bag, right? That's already a known thing that they're going to talk about. So
yeah, I mean that's only now that's sort of a known thing, right? I didn't even know they were doing a Life. I mean, I knew they said they were creating a Life is Strange 3, but that wasn't like an official. We didn't get a trailer or anything. They just said it was in the works. It was just like in an interview, it was in the works. So now it's like, yeah, we're gonna get the big reveal. Other than that, they're going to talk about Outriders, which you've played the demo. I still haven't downloaded it yet. Maybe I'll try it tonight.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
There was a rumor. There was a rumor of a Tomb Raider collection with the last 3 Tomb Raiders being in a collection. Right. It will be the 25th anniversary of Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm. That'd be kind of cool.
Avengers. I'm sure that's going to be the upgrades for the PS5 and the Series X.
Right.
And then a bunch of mobile games like Just Cause Mobile. Is it gonna have Just Cause Mobile?
Sure.
They're gonna talk about that in a new mobile game from Square Enix Montreal studio. So I this is gonna be lackluster. And if that's the case, then why even have a showcase right now? Just hold it 2 more months.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know you like the big spectacle presentation, just make it a big thing so we get a splash, but there's also something to be said about keeping yourself in the zeitgeist, right? Because the last thing that we heard was, and this was just real recently at the Sony State of Play, was Final Fantasy VII Integrate, right? The next part of the Final Fantasy VII series or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, and that kind of like, oh yeah, Square Enix, we're still a thing. We have this new thing coming out. So I can see both. But I agree there's probably not going to be much that we're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this came out. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little lackluster too.
I mean, listen, presentations are to me, this is my bias, or for console gamers and PC gamers. Mobile games, not so much. Mobile games are going to sell no matter what, because you're going to put microtransactions in them. I don't think you need a presentation or a direct style presentation or E3 style presentation, Bethesda, for mobile games.
Yeah,
I think it's useless. It's useless. You can announce them online. You don't need to have a big spectacle to have it.
Yeah.
All you're gonna get is the eye roll from console gamers and PC and hardcore console gamers and PC gamers.
Yeah, I think as long as your game has a good art style and it has one of the like 5 or 6 standard mechanics for your game, you're gonna make some money. All right. Yeah.
All right. Let's transition to sort of like a more serious topic, and it's Capcom. We know Capcom had that sort of data breach last year, and they were being held ransom, and they just said, we're not paying it, screw it, you can put out whatever you want, and there were a lot of leaks. But because of that, Capcom's reportedly required all the employees to actually come in and work in the office despite COVID concerns. Now, they're stating that they're not breaking any Japan, because this is Japan, by the way, Japanese COVID protocols or anything. They're scanning people's temperatures at the door, and I'm sure they're going to take other precautions or socially distance. They should provide testing for everyone. I don't know what Japan's doing with the vaccine, to that effect, but
right. What the kind of availability is and all that.
Yeah. I'm sure they're going to have to be required to wear a mask, but where people right now are working from home, they're requiring you to come in just because they can't guarantee the safety. They pretty much think the data breach was because people are working from home and not in-house. So, well, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think working from home has anything to do with why they got hacked. I think their infrastructure is messed up. All right, their security protocols and like whatever else, their just their general infrastructure. It doesn't matter whether you're on location or remote. You should be set up to work as if you were in the office, as if you were in the data center. Right? There are some There are some things where, if an actual piece of hardware goes dead, right, you got to be in the data center and swap out the hard drive for one that works and whatnot, right? Sure. But I don't think the data breach was that. I think the data breach was, Capcom's got to fix their security, right? Someone was able to get onto their servers, pull out a bunch of files and go, look, if you don't pay us X amount of money, we're going to release all this. And Capcom's like, we don't negotiate with hackers. And they go, okay, here's all your upcoming stuff that's coming out, right? So I don't
Which
think
they
COVID
can change at any point, right? They can, like, nothing's written in stone.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, there's also that too. Yeah,
they could just deny that even, that they're even working on it, and not put it out for another year or two.
Right, exactly. Like I get, well, a couple of things. Like I get that, the pandemic was weird, and it was like a big shift for everybody. People that could work from home decided, yes, I will work from home. Companies shifted to this, remote work lifestyle, and that was a big shift and all that. But your security still needs to be like tight, right? Whether you're in the office or not. I don't really think that's an excuse of, well, we got hacked because we weren't all working together, right? I will say that Japan is very pro, physical bodies in the office, and that's kind of how they work best. They like being there and being able to bounce ideas off each other and just kind of all working together and burning the midnight oil and all that. Like, I get that. They have a different culture over there, right? And that's just kind of their thing. I don't necessarily agree with all of that, but like that's how they get stuff done, and they put out like great games. So yeah, it may be a little bit more tough for them. Like, I think here in America, working from home, especially now, like working from home is kind of just like almost expected that you can say, hey, I want to work from home, and they'll go, okay, and we'll set you up with the thing, whatever, get you on the network. It's fine. We'll make it all work. So I don't know.
70% of Japan is working from home, while 30% have to actually go to work,
right,
to keep the economy going. And
right
now Capcom is part of that 30%.
Yeah, I mean, I just like I feel a little bit weird with them like mandating people coming back, because like, what if you're like, I don't really feel safe coming back to work? You still have to come into work, right? And if you are going to mandate that, get your ducks in a row, cross the T's, dot the I's, do everything in your power to make it safe. Do temperature checks, offer testing every like couple of weeks. So if anybody wants to get a test, or even mandate tests, right? Make sure that, everyone's following the proper protocol. Let people know if somebody in the office has COVID. You do all that, like it makes it a little bit better. Like, you got to do everything in your power to make it as safe as possible if you want your employees to come back to work. That's all I'm going to say about it, right? That's really what I'm getting at.
All right. So we went from something serious to something seriously totally out of this world. I can't even believe this is like a thing.
Oh, this is fantastic.
But
yeah.
Have you ever thought to yourself, how can I watch Tenet? What's another way I can watch Tenet? The Christopher Nolan movie that came out in November.
Right.
Personally, I think, there should be no way you should be able to watch Tenet, because this movie, I think, is just bad. It's the most overhyped movie.
Yeah.
of in the last like 10 years. But
yeah.
If you're ever thinking about a new way to watch it, Wolf Den YouTube channel,
Bob Wulff,
Bob Wulff sort of modded his game. He put this movie in like 3 or 4 different Game Boy Advance cartridges, and he's watching. Now you can watch Tenet on your Game Boy Advance.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Five cartridges. It takes
right, five different GBA cartridges. If he got like a 2-hour plus movie onto 5 GBA cartridges, which I don't know, maybe max 64 megs, maybe 256 megs. I don't even know how big these cartridges can how much storage is on a standard GBA cart, but that's insane and beautiful at the same time, because I don't know if you remember, but Christopher Nolan was very much, you need to see Tenet in the theater, and it was only in theaters for a while. Like, he was like, basically, you need to see this on the big screen with the nice sound system, and like, you know, it needs to be experienced like you're watching an actual movie. And he didn't want people looking at it on like their cell phone, right? Which is what a lot of people would have been doing, because everyone's scared of the, you know, the virus, and they don't want to go out. So people would have been watching it in less than optimal ways. And that's part of the reason why Wolf Den did this, which I think is fantastic. Because what is the worst way to watch a movie? And I think this is it.
This is the worst. This is a terrible way to watch a movie, but it's probably the only way you're actually going to actually get the premise of Tenet. Because I'm still confused on some.
Yeah, it is a
rules of what they set forth and then broke.
Right. Yeah, it's a weird ass movie. Yeah, it definitely requires multiple watchings. But I will say this, some of the technical aspects, it's 192 by 128 resolution. All right? It's not even 640 by 480. It's definitely not even like progressive scan 720 by 480. It is super low resolution. And it's got a very low frame rate. Right. He fits it over 5, so you have to keep swapping discs out too, or cartridges to play this movie. It's chef's kiss. I have to say, it's fantastic. I want to get Tenet on the GBA. I hope he releases cartridges of this. He probably won't. I don't think he can, because it's not his movie. But
all right, well, if that's the case, I want to watch Avatar on my Game Boy Color.
There you go.
How many cartridges do we need to have Avatar on a Game Boy Color?
Oh my God.
All right. Well, that does it for the news.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, what are you gonna do this weekend?
I am still got those big deck dreams, Dan. The deck is happening. So I am I've been messing around with little online kind of room builder things just to see, well, I can do this and I can do that, and you know, whatever else. Because I have this space, like I said, I think on the last episode, the episode before maybe, I got this unused space that is my space, and all I need to do is put a door and put some wood down. I'm gonna have a beautiful deck out there. So I've been kind of putting together a list of things and trying to like organize things and this and that. So that's my jam for the next few weeks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
Well, I just got the PS5 Pulse 3D wireless headphones.
Oh yeah.
I want to try those out.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how they sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the whole thing. They hyped up the PS5 for the HD sound, right?
Right.
HD graphics, but let's talk about HD sound.
Mm-hmm.
They're white because obviously the premise of the PS5 is white.
Yeah. You want to be matchy. Yeah.
So I wanted to get a headphone, like a headphone stand, and if you go to bluelounge.com, they're sort of like the IKEA for like accessories, like if you have wires and you want to like keep the wires nice and neat, or you have a headphone stand, or like an iPad stand or something like that. Like they're like the IKEA of that. I think they're Polish. I think they're a Polish company too.
Okay.
They had a nice sort of chrome and white headphone stand that I liked. Sold out. However, a lot of the inventory is sold out. I'm guessing supply constraints, trying to put the products together. However, the Amazon account still had it. Not at the same price though, but not that much more expensive. So I just bought it off of Amazon. So it looks nice and neat. I have it next to the PS4 headphones with the Blue Lounge stand that was black.
Nice.
So they sort of go together. So I can't wait to test it out and just play some more on my PS5.
Nice, good deal.
Jump between the PS5 and the Yakuza Like a Dragon on an Xbox.
Oh, there you go. Good deal. Well, I think that about does it. That's episode 261 in the books, folks. And we want to thank you guys for doing all the wonderful stuff that you guys do, for listening in and liking and commenting and doing all that good stuff. And if you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, to note that we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
Keep gaming.